maybe I've been living under a rock, but I never hear anybody talk about these products. I feel like the makeup that I'm gonna be using today to do a look is very good quality, but very underrated, very underhyped. I just want to shine a little bit of light on underrated favorites. So let's get into it. So I feel like there are many more underrated favorites in my collection, but I just made a selection that we're gonna go through today. If you want to see more like this, let me know. I can do more. So the first brand I want to talk about that always gets me very excited, but I really don't hear anybody about it, is GlossGods. I am such a huge fan of GlossGods. If you follow me, then you know. I try to review most of their palettes. Like, I haven't really tried other things from them, but their palettes are really nice. And you know, what I really like about them is that they are pretty affordable, still give you a lot of special shades, and they are based in Europe, so I don't have to pay any extra taxes. So these palettes are super affordable for me, and I just love it because nowadays I feel like €100, $100 for a indie eyeshadow palette, it's pretty much normalized. Like, I've gotten a little bit used to that. Not that I paid it a lot, but it doesn't shock me anymore. So I think my favorite eyeshadow palette from GlossGods is gonna be First Gal on Jupiter. This is such a beautiful cool tone neutral palette. I love this neutral but still special vibe. And then their newer one is the Let's Get Nude, and I was thinking I want to do a little bit of a combination of the two. This one has a little bit more like warmer shades, also a lot of special shades that swatch beautifully, that look beautiful in the eyes, but the mattes are a little bit like on the warmer side for me, and I feel like if I combine these two, it's gonna be like the perfect look. So I already applied a little bit of eyeshadow primer. Always when I zoom in, my camera is just like, you need to be brighter. I don't know what happens, but then I zoom out, it goes back to normal again. Okay, I want to start out with a shade from this palette. I think I'm just gonna go into Starry Stride, and I'm gonna use it kind of like as the cool tone base for this look. It's a very light shade, but I still think it's gonna make everything look a little bit more like seamless and more in harmony with my face. Like, sometimes I do like a little bit of a warmer look, but not what suits me the very best. I think I'm also gonna grab a little bit of Celestial Track, just a little, if I can do that. I am able. So I do have to say that the mattes in GlossGods palettes, I usually don't have any issues with them, but they are not the thing that really like truly blows me away, that really makes me love it so much. It's the shimmers. I love the shimmers so much, and the fact that these are usually quite neutral palettes but with a twist, and I would say that's kind of like my makeup style, neutral with a twist. All right, we're moving on to the Let's Get Nude eyeshadow palette, and what shall we do today? I think I want to go today for the shade Not So Nude. This is a multi-chrome, a shimmery, creamy, juicy multi-chrome, which has green, gold, kind of like mauve, and then a warm purple. So it's like 4 shades at least that you get in here. And yeah, that's gonna get very smoky very fast, but that is such a cool shade. It feels a little bit like that typical multi-chrome, but this doesn't really seem to have like a black base, which makes it a little bit more soft, a little bit more nude. I am gonna grab a little bit of the shade Dare to Bear. I'm gonna put that in the outer corner because I wanna mesh everything together. That is blending really nicely actually. I'm happy. And now for a lighter shimmer, I am gonna go into the shade called Skinny Dip. I'm gonna put that over here. Always when I use such a dark shimmer, which I don't do a lot, I definitely feel like I need a little bit of lightness and brightness in the inner corner. That's really nice. That's a really nice shade. I don't really feel like there's a true inner corner shade here. Like, Golden Hour looks like it's gonna be a light shade, but it's it has such a strong shift to gold. So I think I'm gonna go into the first Gal on Jupiter palette. Let's see what we have here. Not exactly what I'm looking for. I think we're just gonna use a skinny dip in the inner corner as well. Just gonna wrap it around. See if it's bright enough for that. Yeah, that's really stunning. I am gonna take a little bit of Undress. I'm gonna put that on the lower lash line. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of Dare to Bear. And I'm gonna put it on the lower lash line as well. I feel like these palettes are such good companion palettes for me because I love having kind of like a mix of warm and cool in my looks. Because I am quite a neutral undertone, leaning a little bit cool. But I just love the vibe. Just a little bit of extra blending, even though it was already looking quite good. But sometimes, like, I look back and I'm like, okay, I could have done a little bit more of this or that. But when you're filming, sometimes you just don't see what you're doing. Like, there's a mirror, there is lighting, but I still sometimes don't see certain things on my face. Okay, I'm not sure if this is really like an underrated mascara, but in like the Western beauty sphere, I don't really hear anybody about it, but of course it is a Korean brand, but I do hear people about their lip products, not about the mascara. So this is the Remixed Han Fix mascara. This is LO2 Long Ash, and this is an ash brow mascara that is waterproof. And it's just, it has a really nice effect for it being waterproof. I do feel like waterproof mascaras usually look a little bit less like impactful and fluffy, and it just looks not exactly as what I would want, but this lasts really long and is really beautiful, and I really like the color, and I'm gonna give my update about it soon. But I just really like it. Like, when I first applied it, I didn't realize at all that it was a waterproof mascara. It didn't give me that vibe. Like, it's a little bit on the natural side, but I don't mind it. I do like a little bit of a natural looking lash. And it also doesn't irritate my eyes. Like, sometimes mascaras will irritate my eyes. But yeah, the fact that this is long wearing and such a beautiful color, and it's not even that expensive, I really like it. And there are also other shades. I believe there's also more of a warm brown. There's also just a black. There might even be more of a nude shade if you're after that. That's what you want. Kind of feel like videos on underrated products, like that in itself is a bit of an underrated topic. Like, I don't do a lot of videos like that, and I don't see a lot of videos like that. I feel like we're really focused on viral products nowadays in the like beauty YouTube and TikTok, and like everybody is talking about, I tried all the new viral things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you like making that content, if your audience likes that content, and a lot of people do like the content, like, there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes it's also nice to find some things that might even be better, but just nobody's talking about. Alright, so that is the mascara done. We are gonna move on to the bronzer, and if you follow me, then this doesn't probably feel like an underrated product to you, because I talk about this bronzer stick a lot. But I still feel like more people should know about it. I still feel like people are not realizing how good this product is. And it might be because it's an older product. It hasn't been launched recently. So I'm talking about the Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour by Kiko. It's just so easy to blend. It's so easy to use. It's just such an effortless product. I love it. It might even be my top 1 favorite bronzer. I just love it so much. I am using the shade 203 for this video, but my absolute most effortless favorite color is 200. That one is a little bit more cool toned, a little lighter. This one is a little deeper, a little bit more of a summertime bronze, but it's still not orange. But yeah, I feel like I have to mention it again and again. I feel kind of like this is my responsibility now, because nobody talks about this. Okay, it looks a little scary, but I promise it's gonna be okay when I blend it out. Like, it doesn't take a lot of time. Of course, the lighter shade is a little easier to blend on my fair skin, but I do like this shade sometimes for more of that like bronzy look, but just look at how good that looks. I really like it. I just feel like once it is blended, it just looks so good. And it's not that super creamy formula. It's kind of almost like this cream to powder situation, but because of that I feel like it's super precise and easy to use, and it doesn't like get away from you. Sometimes really creamy products can like be a little too pigmented, or just you can go a little crazy too quickly with them, but this is just like super effortless. So that is the bronzer. I am gonna clean up underneath here a little bit later. That is something that I've been doing. I'm gonna show you in a bit. Oh, by the way, I'm totally forgetting the concealer that I wanted to show you. I don't know why I suddenly jumped to bronzer, but it's gonna be okay. So recently I've been totally loving the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer, and this is in the shade 010 Porcelain. When I first tried it in a full face of Catrice, I was like, it seems a little creasy, but I haven't had that issue since. So I think it was a base product that I was like blending this with that made this crease a little bit, but I've had no issues. I love the color, love the way this sits on the skin, love the way this blends. This is a beautiful concealer. I've been using this non-stop since I got it. For blemishes, but also for my under eyes. And I've been done reviewing this for a while now because I've been using it so consistently, and I keep throwing it in the to be reviewed bin, but then I keep grabbing it again because it's part of my daily makeup routine. And yeah, I don't know, like this might be one where I am the problem, like where I was living under a rock and I should have known about this product years ago and everybody's using it. I don't know, but I'm loving it and I did want to talk about it. I just wanted to show you again, sometimes I do give you a first impression and I quickly notice that it's not exactly as it seems, like a product is not exactly as it seemed in the first impression, and then I do feel kind of like the responsibility to talk about it as quickly as possible again, because I don't want to feel like I give you misinformation. But of course that is a risk of a first impression, part of the deal. I feel like this is such a nice way to clean up under the eyes. Is it just me that does that? I never really pay attention to it. Like, is it normal to put down your concealer first? Alright, I put down the concealer. I haven't been setting this concealer recently. I've been kind of trying to figure out how to make my under eyes look good. I've had some drier under eyes. I've had some fine lines like right over here. And I've been kind of like struggling with foundation, concealer, that type of product. Also because I never really used it before. Like I've been kind of getting into it. A little bit more coverage. I've been kind of like figuring out those types of products for the first time in my life. And I have noticed that not setting things and actually adding hydration, adding a hydrating primer, things like that, actually makes my under eyes look way better than setting it and doing things that are more like focused on oily skin. Like I was kind of treating my skin like oily skin, but I don't have that. So since I've discovered that, I've really enjoyed it. Next up, I've actually really been enjoying the Catrice Slim Matic Ultra Precise Brow Pencil Waterproof in the shade, what's the shade that I have? 020 Medium. So when I first tried it, I was a bit like, the packaging is a little wonky, and I do feel like when you turn it up, it just feels like it isn't, I never know how to say this, like it isn't sturdy, it isn't gonna stay up like this. It kind of like turns down a little bit while you're applying it, but that's the only issue I have with this. I love the color, I love the way this applies, I love the way this looks, and it's very affordable. It's like a really affordable dupe for like a lot of precise pencils, like these pencils that you turn up, like the NYX one that I always use, that is also affordable but is still more expensive than this one. And when you turn this up enough, then there's no issue. So I'm gonna say that this is a really good alternative to a lot of expensive pencils, and I've been really enjoying it, and I don't really hear anybody about it. So this is like the most underrated eye pencil I have in my collection. I don't want to completely draw in my entire eyebrows, but I want to add a little bit of definition, and this one works really well for that. And then next up, to finish up the brows, I have another Catrice product. This is the Catrice Brow Gel Mascara, Color and Fix. I have shade 020 Medium Brown. Again, really love the shade, really love this brow mascara. This is my ultimate favorite brow mascara that I have ever tried. I do brush my hairs down and then I brush them up because I have pretty, I think, long brow hairs, and they tend to fall down. Like, they don't really fall down if I just only brush them up, but they sometimes just need a bit of extra hold, and when I do that, they're just set in place all day. So I do like to do that anyway, but I love how fluffy this makes my brows look. I love how effortless it is to apply. When I mess up a little bit, it's really easy to clean up. Like, I have tried some other brow gels, like this one from Maybelline, the Express Brow. That is so hard to clean up, and I always make mistakes. I don't know why, but I always mess up, and I just need to be able to clean that really quickly. And this just doesn't stick to the skin in a weird way. And I just love the look. I love the hold. Alright, I was cut off, but I was saying how I love the color. I love the look of the brows. This hasn't been around for a very long time, I think. Like, I've been using this non-stop since I first tried it, and this is my second tube of this. I did use the other one too long. Like, I just kept going with an empty tube. Like, sometimes you don't notice how big the difference is until you like open a fresh one, and it's like, wow, that is so impactful. Okay, next up we have some options for highlighter and blush, and I'm kind of thinking what I want to do. I have some things from BH Cosmetics and from Revolution. I've been trying some Revolution, and I've actually also been enjoying some Revolution. Never expected myself to say that like a year ago I wouldn't have expected that, but here we are, and I'm trying a lot of things, and I have a few things from Revolution that I really enjoy. I have this Aura Luminizer. This is a liquid iridescent luminizer that has kind of like this warm purple glow, and it's really beautiful. I really like it. But I also have this one, the BH Cosmetics Sun Flex Powder Highlighter. This is such a gorgeous highlighter. It's so glowy, it's so glossy, it's a beautiful color. I think I'm actually gonna go with this one because I don't feel like BH is talked about anymore. I do get why, because they used to be known for the eyeshadow palettes, and it has just been kind of quiet around the brand, and not a lot has come out. It doesn't really feel like the old BH Cosmetics anymore, and I feel like a lot of people that were a fan, they kind of like fell off. I feel like the summer collection from last year is the last bigger release that they've done. It's a little strange. I'm kind of hoping for them to come back, because they did make some pretty good makeup. Like, I was quite excited for this brand. Okay, we're gonna first do the blush. So this is a Revolution Neo Pink blush, and this was the Aura blush from the Mood Switch collection. This is such a beautiful light pink blush that is really easy to use, really easy to blend. It's a beautiful color, and it's just kind of like on the sheerer side, but because of that, I just find it so effortless. It's kind of like, it's a matte blush, but it has kind of like this skin-like finish, and there's just something about it. It just looks so beautiful and effortless on the cheeks. It is such a beautiful finish. It's kind of like this blurring, perfecting blush, and I love the fresh shade of pink. Like, every time I wear this, I just feel so pretty. I feel like it looks so good on the cheeks. Some formulas just do that. Like, they blend in, they melt in, and they just look really good. Alright, I'm gonna use the Sun Flex Powder Highlighter. Did I already say what shade I had? This is Sun Chaser. And this is kind of like this cool toned, lightish, pinkish champagne. Just grabbing my highlighter brush. It's kind of like in between cool and warm. I think that is absolutely stunning. That is a beautiful highlighter formula. There are other shades in this formula, but this one is the shade that I thought I would use the most. I really like how my cheeks are looking right now. We we are moving on to a powder. So this is actually also one that I tried recently, but I haven't been able to put down. So I do want to like mention it in sort of like a favorites video. So this is the Catrice All Matte Plus Shine Control Powder. This is the universal one, so this is like see-through. And this is just such a nice powder. It looks so good, it feels so good. I don't feel like it looks or feels drying. It's just a very nice way to kind of like mattify a few places on my face that I want a little bit more mattified, and I've just been really enjoying this powder. It's also very affordable, and I don't hear anyone talking about it. I just use this a little bit on the forehead, and then I don't feel like I'm super shiny today, but maybe a little over here. I feel like my skin is looking quite good. Not a lot of issues, but I love it for kind of like the forehead, because I feel like sometimes my forehead is just a little bit too shiny, and yeah, it just still feels like skin. It doesn't feel like weird or powdery. It doesn't look weird or powdery. Like, it's a really great, very natural looking matte powder. And I also wanted to mention one other one. So this is a product that I said I did not understand. This is the Radiant Fusion Baked Powder by Kiko in 01. I reviewed this maybe 6 months ago, I don't know, something like that, 6 months, 7 months ago. I was like, I don't know how to use this, but since then I've been using this a lot in my beauty routine. So this is a powder, a baked powder that is not very mattifying. It's kind of like this, I don't know, finishing powder. It has a slight bit of coverage. It isn't super mattifying. We're just using a little bit extra here now, but you're not gonna fully notice the difference. But this is such a nice powder to kind of finish up the face and to kind of blend out some things that might look a little harsh. So like, you can do this with a concealer as well, but now we're just gonna do it with a powder. Just a nice way to kind of like finish off the edges, to make everything look a little bit more seamless, because it has a slight bit of coverage to it, but it's like slight, very little coverage, and then it isn't truly mattifying. It's really like this finishing powder, and I feel like it's so handy dandy, like so nice to have to kind of like fix things a little bit. Like, I go overboard with my blush a lot, and then I can just grab this to do what I just did, like fix the edges a little bit, make everything look a little bit more like neat and soft. And this is just a very affordable one. I think a great alternative to something like Hourglass. I think it looks really great on the skin. Then another product that I've been using recently and been really loving, and I don't know why nobody's talking about this. So this is the Catrice Plus Maxi Lip Plumping Lip Liner. But this does have some mint oil in it as well, but I don't really care about that much. This is just a really nice lip liner. It has a nice amount of pigmentation. It's very precise. It's long wearing. It's a beautiful color as well. This is 150 Queen Vibes, and this is a cool tone lip liner. I've just been grabbing for this over and over again since I got it. So let's apply. And this one is very creamy when you first apply it, but then it kind of like dries down and it kind of like sets itself and becomes very long wearing. So I really like that about it. It is a bit more difficult to go over the lines after. Like, you just want to do the lining in one go, basically. That is the easiest way to go about it. But yeah, I really like this color. It's such a great nude lip liner for me. I feel like a lot of nude lip liners are a little bit too light for me, but this is like a few tints deeper than my lip color and very similar to my lip color, so I really like it. In the world of these Slick Click up pens, I feel like often we forget that we have very similar formulas to those, but just in a lipstick packaging. And I feel like these lipstick packaging lipsticks that are glossy are just generally overlooked. And not for a good reason, because a lot of those are actually, I would say, nicer than the Click Stick pens. Like, I think I prefer things like this. And this one, the Flower Notes Swan Ballet lipsticks. This is BO4 Silver Moon. These are such amazing glossy lipsticks. I would pick these, I think, over any of these Slick Click types products, because this is, first of all, beautiful packaging, but that's not what this is about. Because the thing with this is like, it's so beautiful and glossy, but it's also kind of long wearing. It has a little bit of grip to it. It's not really sticky, but it grips onto the lips a little bit. Because of that, it wears for quite a long time. It's is a very nice wear time. And just the hydration lingers on the lips. It feels hydrating for a longer time. So let's apply. I feel like this just looks gorgeous. It feels really nice on the lips and it is very glossy. Like it looks like a gloss in a stick, but it's not in that exact packaging. So I feel like the packaging is kind of sometimes what steers us away from certain products, but maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should keep our eyes open for glossy lipsticks in a stick because I love a lot of those. Like, I like a lot of those. I could have mentioned a few others as well. The last thing I wanted to show in this video was the Nimya glosses. I hear nobody talking about these, but these are really nice glosses. So this is the one in She Said What, and this is kind of like this cool tone nude situation. And it's a really nice topper, but it also looks really nice like on its own. It's kind of like this micro shimmer shiny situation. I do feel like maybe it's a little much to combine all of this, but let's do a little. Maybe there's a bit much going on right now. But I really like these glosses. And this is gonna be the finished look for today. I am really loving how this all turned out. I think it's a very cute look and I'm very excited about it. Let me know if you tried any of these products or are there any recommendations you have that you feel are so underrated. And yeah, that will be it. See you in my next video. Bye bye.